Today, a scathing verdict.
At the heart of the report is a relationship between organised crime, money laundering and gambling.
From turning an apparent blind eye to money laundering operations to cosy relationships with known organised criminals, retired Judge Patricia Bergen found that Crown Resorts is currently not a suitable person to hold the Barangaroo licence or even be associated with the licensee. But today's findings shouldn't come as a complete surprise. Dialing in via a dodgy connection from his mega yacht in the South Pacific 4 months ago, James Packer didn't exactly cover himself in glory.
Do you accept any responsibility for these failures?
I accept some. Not all, but some.
His mates fared even worse.
It's clear from that footage, isn't it, that you were reading from the notes?
No, it's not, Mr. Aspinall.
That's not true, is it, Mr. Demetrio? And you know it's not true.
You do accept, do you not, Mr. Johnston, that some of your junkets were connected to criminal elements?
It would appear that way, yes.
But while Crown Resorts was in the firing line, questions will be asked of the state government that awarded Packer's Empire both the licence and the prime real estate to build Barangaroo back in 2014.
I mean, it's almost unconscionable to imagine that a government would give a major privileged position without any public accountability.
It's now up to the Independent Liquor and Gaming Authority to decide Crown's fate. At the least, they'll impose stringent conditions and changes, but it's possible they'll revoke the licence and scuttle the $2.2 billion development. Barangaroo was to have been a shining light to cement Packer's legacy. Now, it threatens to bring that legacy undone.
Well, the Reverend Tim Costello has long campaigned against Crown's gambling operations and he joins us now. Tim, what did you make of the inquiry findings this afternoon?
Well, as a Victorian, I was shocked that it took New South Wales to actually find the evidence that was happening here in Victoria and to say you're not fit to have a licence. If they're not fit in New South Wales, certainly Premier Andrews has to be asked why are they fit to hold a licence here in Melbourne. So, look, I wasn't completely shocked 21 years ago when I called the regulator here in Victoria weak for not looking into laundering. I got sued for taxpayers' money for defaming the regulator. So there's a bit of schadenfreude, I must admit, a nasty emotion with me now seeing this finding.
Well, do you think it will likely impact Crown's operations in Melbourne, which will devastate my father-in-law Brian, by the way? But also there's Perth. Like, what's the knock-on from this?
Well, the knock-on is that here the regulator and the government will have to at least impose exactly the same conditions that Judge Bergen has imposed in New South Wales. The findings are of its links with organised crime. And when we hear money laundering, it's code for selling illicit drugs, ice to our kids, trafficking women. It's really, really serious. So that now here in Victoria, the regulator, and the question is how have they been so captured to leave it to New South Wales, will be forced to act.
21 years is a long time to reach this day, Tim. Hearing you say that then, that's decades of you pushing for this.
Yes, it is. And what's really curious to me is how come in Victoria there was such capture? Because we have known of these things, of rumours, of people who are whistleblowers. To this date, the Aldi bags that Andrew Wilkie revealed the evidence of the money laundering at Crown, to this day, as far as I know, they've not been investigated by Victoria Police. I don't know why. And so whether it's the regulator or AUSTRAC, I think the impunity Crown has had has been because it's been so well connected. In its arrogance, it just assumed it couldn't be touched. And remember, it just asked for a licence in New South Wales, assuming it would be treated with the same impunity. And now all this has come out and it's all Victorian evidence.
Big day, Tim. We really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's amazing to think that we're having these chats when there's a whopping big building that's already been built, right?
That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah. I reckon if anyone wants to buy a casino at bargain basement prices, there might be one on the market pretty soon.
From expert opinions to in-depth analysis and reporting, the Project YouTube brings you the biggest stories from Australia and around the globe. Hit the subscribe button now for news delivered straight to your feed.